Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of the D-Pad Discourse. At this point of the D-Pad Discourse, I will say what week that this edition will be for, but I'm not going to do that this time, since this edition of the D-Pad Discourse will not focus on various news that happen during a week. It will focus on only one thing, and that thing is EA Access. Now, a lot of people have been talking about EA Access. It's been a pretty popular topic on gaming sites and gaming forums for these past few days, or this past week and a half or so. And this video is going to be about EA Access. I'm going to talk about what I feel about everything involving the service from EA. Now, this service from EA Access, will give users the ability to play digital content from EA a couple of days before it releases. And this early access period will range, and I'm guessing now it will depend on what game that you want early access to. So if it's a game that can be beat in less than 5 days, like Peggle 2, then they'll probably give people a couple hours of early access for that game. But games that really can't be beaten, like the sports games, Madden and NHL, FIFA, those games, they'll probably give people early access to those games for the 5 days, you know, the max period. Now, on top of having early access to games, people will also be able to get discounts on DLC for these games, as well as discounts on the games themselves, the digital versions of these games. It's 10% discount. And also they'll have access to the EA Vault, which holds previous EA games that were released months ago. They include you know, games that came out during the launch of the Xbox One and PS4. Now, the service is $5 a month or $30 for the whole year. And on top of this, the service is only going to come out to the Xbox One, at least for now. Now, when news came out about this service, and due to it being stated that this service will only come out to the Xbox One, I instantly assumed that Microsoft had another deal with EA for this service. But I want to say about a day or two after the service was announced, Sony made a statement about the service, saying that it wasn't a good value. Now, this wasn't needed in my opinion. I think that Sony should have just kept their mouth shut about how they felt about EA Access, well, at least in terms of giving a public statement about it. They shouldn't have said anything about the service, you know, even if they do feel you know, kind of iffy about EA Access. And I feel that, you know, Sony saying that EA Access isn't a good value to consumers I should say it has made PS4 owners a bit upset, you know, owners that will be interested in EA games, because they feel that Sony is treating them like kids. And I get that. I mean, they're basically saying, hey, we know what's best for you guys, you know, we know what's best for you guys, you know, you guys shouldn't have to think for yourselves, we know what's good for you guys. And I feel that that Sony's PR statement about EA Access wasn't smart in that sense, but also at the same time it wasn't smart because due to Sony saying that will make EA more determined to prove why the service is actually worth it to consumers who read who read what Sony said about EA Access. You know, EA will see that and then say, oh, you know what, let's really do a good job on the service to prove Sony wrong to people who actually believe them. And due to EA wanting to prove Sony wrong, on top of EA Access being exclusive on Xbox One, that will benefit the Xbox One, because the Xbox One, again, will be the only system with the service, and those features or whatever EA tries to do to prove Sony wrong based on their public statement about the service will be coming to the Xbox One, and it will benefit, you know, people who use that service on Xbox One and attract even more people to using the service, and will maybe make more PS4 owners want Sony to change their mind and try to get the service onto the PS4. And it's funny because also a big reason why Sony said no to having EA Access on the PS4 is because EA Access would take possible money away from PS Now. You know, PS Now is a new streaming service, and they're really hyping that up, you know, saying it'll be this new great thing for the PS4. And if you follow PS Now recently, you can tell that the prices are pretty ridiculous. I mean, I want to say it's about, if I remember correctly, it's $20 to rent a game, an old game from the PS3 gen for 90 days, which is a lot of money, especially when you could get the same game at a store, you know, for the same price and have it forever. And it's funny, you know, that people actually believe Sony is looking out for them when it comes to their statement about them saying that EA Access isn't a good deal for consumers. Because, I mean, you know, these same people think that, you know, Sony's looking out for us. Sony doesn't want gaming to turn into a bunch of services. But it's like, at the same time, Sony is creating PS Now, which is a service, and they also, you know, a few years back introduced PS Plus, which is also a service. You know, that service is tied into PSN, but if you don't care about online play and you are interested in PS Plus, you still have to pay money to get those games that are on PS Plus. So Sony definitely cares about services. It's just that they care about their own services and don't want, you know, any possible money to be taken away from them when it comes to competition. You know, the EA Access would possibly take away money from PS Now. You know, people will say, okay, why would I want to spend money to play or rent older games that released last gen when I can use the money on EA Access and get access to a decent number of recent EA games that are for current gen, you know, and be able to play them and download them to my console and, you know, not have to stream them. So it definitely, so Sony's statement was also, you know, kind of opposite of what they said. Well, excuse me, I should say Sony's reason for the statement was can be considered opposite of what they actually said. You know, they said that EA Access isn't good value, but truly, I'm pretty sure they feel that it is a good value, and the reason that they said no was because of that, because it is a good value and it would compete pretty well against PS Now. So that's how I feel about Sony's statement. Now, in terms of the service itself, getting back to the service, I think it's a good value for anybody that's interested in EA games. A lot of people are focusing, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but some people are focusing on a $30 per year subscription plan. And I think that, you know, that's still a good deal for people who are really, really interested in EA games. But at the same time, it seems like those same people that are focusing on $30 per year deal aren't looking at the $5 per month deal. And I say that because $5 per month is really good for if you're interested in certain EA games. Like, for example, Madden 15, Madden 15, FIFA 15, and NHL 15 all come out in August and September, and they all, you know, are within a month of each other in terms of release dates. Therefore, somebody could get EA Access for $5 a month. Well, excuse me, somebody could pay $5 to have EA Access for a month, you know, and do that, like, say a couple of days before Madden releases, and from that they could have the ability to play Madden early, NHL early, and FIFA early, on top of getting 10% off on all 3 of those games and 10% off on all DLC for those games. You know, the DLC that comes out during that period, and they'll be able to play all those 3 games early before they release in the retail stores. And they could do all that for $5. So if somebody's interested in those 3 games, then that's a great deal. And again, this will, while I don't think this will be a really huge deal, at least, you know, not now, because there hasn't been that many EA games released for the Xbox One yet, I could definitely see this helping out the Xbox One sell to sports gamers. You know, the Xbox One doesn't have a baseball game, but at the same time, a lot of people love EA sports games, and if they get informed that they can spend less on EA Sports games on one console over the other, they'll definitely get that console. And this is, again, really good for the Xbox One, since the brand you know, is known for dude bros, you know, college students and stuff like that, you know, students who like playing sports games against each other. So getting discounts on those EA Sports games will be good for that audience and will help that audience get an Xbox One. And again, this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out in these upcoming months as well as years. And I know me personally, I'm interested in the service. I like a decent number of EA games, so I will more than likely be in the service. I'm just determining what time will be the best time to get the service, so I can get the full benefits of the 10% discount on the EA games. So that was this edition of the D-Pad Discourse. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And next week will be a regular edition of the D-Pad Discourse that will talk about all the news, the gaming news that came out during the week. So look forward to that, and I'll see you guys then. Until then, Brad Davis saying goodbye, everybody.